home strategies, tools, tips, gearing up for the future. Friends, ICAI Accounting Research Foundation, that is ICAI ARF, has over the time undertaken several research initiatives for both the cause of profession and nation as a true partner in nation building. ICAI ARF has initiated a survey to gather insight from professionals like you to develop a report with suggestions for revival of the economy from the impact of COVID-19, which would be submitted to government for its consideration after due deliberation with ARF. We request you to please take some time and share your valuable thoughts by participating in this survey on or before 19th April 2020. Thank you in advance for your time and valuable insight. And over to Shashipalji for the session.
Now I request CA Narasimhan to kindly start your session.
Thank you. Before I proceed, a couple of logistics. I hope my screen is visible and my voice is clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay. May I please request all of them to place your Zoom on mute mode so that there is no disturbance. Thank you so much. What I will be doing is I will take you through the journey of how we can simplify work from home. I will also make a mention of few tools which are available at our disposal, and few of these tools are available free of cost. That is something which I found it very fascinating, at least not for perpetuity, at least for the next 2 or 3 months they have come forward and given it free of cost. And I will talk about what are the strategies and what the new future is, because that's basically where we also have to head into. Because the world is now slowly going to move into what is called as post-COVID era, which is going to come up probably maybe July, August, or maybe even from beginning of June. The world might be slowly seeing that. So how do we as professionals also gear up for that challenge? So that's the broad objective under which we are going to start our discussion. And since it's a small group, I would be more than happy to take your questions. But please reserve your questions towards the end. I will be happy to answer those questions. Okay, a quick brief about me. I think it was already introduced. I'll not spend too much time here. I'm basically a practicing chartered accountant, and I recently happened to author a book titled Digitizing CA Practice. And by God's grace, I've been able to do a lot of things to the community in terms of being a faculty with the institute, being a faculty with the ISACA, which has a course by name CISA. I'm also a national and international speaker. I travel across the world to deliver lectures on technology and emerging concepts. But of course, good thing is I did not travel anywhere in January, and luckily I'm safe now. Okay, general disclaimer, I'll be discussing a lot of apps throughout the session. I don't endorse any of these apps, but these are purely for academic purposes, and that's why we're going to discuss them. Can we please have it on the mute, please? I see Moto G, somebody is on unmute. Kindly put yourself into mute. Thank you. So today we are going to have a very simple agenda. We all know that, for next at least 15 to 20 odd days, another 2 weeks, at least May 3rd, our Honorable Prime Minister has said that, we have to be to some extent under lockdown or partial lockdown. So what are the challenges which we are facing? And of course, let's go into what is the strategy which I can devise. From there, I will quickly take you to the most important section, the tools which are necessary for me to work from home. The few security considerations, because a lot of cyber security incidents are taking place, and a few practical tips, okay, in terms of how we should save ourselves. And last is a bonus, which I'll cover it when the appropriate time comes. So a few basic challenges. 90% of our data is still residing in our office. Probably 10% maybe on emails or maybe on some Google Drive, etc. That could be a most likely scenario with many of us. We are not able to travel to office. That's another challenge for us because of this lockdown. Difficulty in having an organized communication with staff. Most of my communication with my staff is only over WhatsApp. I'm not able to, go beyond that. I'm not able to meet clients. Okay, I'm not able to have face-to-face meetings. I'm not able to track tasks because I don't know which work I've given to which staff and what is the position. I'm not able to track them. And on the other end, I don't have sufficient software and licenses for me to, sort of operate. Assuming I have to work from home, I obviously require some softwares. The software is in our office. What do I do? And last question is, how do I access this data? I'm sure all of us are in the same bucket, and so am I. Not that I have overcome all of these challenges. A few of these challenges, even I have it till date, but I have made my best attempt to, sort of get into it. And also, let me give you a background. I don't run a firm of 200, 300 odd people. We are a small firm. We are about 20 people in strength. Same traditional areas of practice which we do. But what I do is I do try to do all these services some or the other way powered by technology. When I say technology, it's not just external software. Internal processes also I try to use as much as possible various technology tools. So how should I devise my work from home strategy? And this all starts from us, who we have to sit and plan. How can I get started? One more major question which many of them are telling, that we are speaking about work from home, work from home, but what do I work from home? What is the work which I will do at home? That is a very interesting question, because many of the times, the small and medium practitioners, the work keeps on coming as and when the client calls, as and when there is a requirement, etc. But from the client end itself, there has been some amount of delay, correct? Or for various reasons, clients themselves are not able to operate. So in that case, my dear friends, how do I get started with work? So any work from home strategy is based upon a few basic deciding factors. The first deciding factor is, do I have availability of remote systems? I will also talk about in our office how we were being able to do it, so that you get a practical perspective. Every end user should obviously have some or the other system, correct? There could be a possibility that our office has so many desktops, it does not have adequate number of laptops, quite possible. Second scenario is, maybe employee has a laptop of his own, not of office laptop. Can I start using it? These are one area of questions. The second area of question is there a good connectivity at a remote location? Now, this I would say 70 to 80% we need not worry about today. Why? Because most of us today are having reasonably connected, and thanks to the companies like Jio, Airtel, who have reduced the data prices to a large extent, internet is definitely available. Of course, we should educate our team members to save the bandwidth so that majority can be focused on office, and the non-priority, like watching movies, videos on Netflix and Amazon Prime, so probably comes to a backseat. Then is availability of data. When I say the word data here, I'm referring to the office files, office records, office transactions. We need to check whether all of these are available in that scenario. And of course, last, do I have the remote software and tools? It could be, A software, B software, tax compliance software, which I'm doing. Do I have these with me? So these broad framework is what I'm going to look into. I will also talk about wherever possible. If you don't have these with you, still you can give some work. It may not be fully effective, but you can definitely give a lot of research oriented work, lot of training oriented work, and lot of things relating to that. Let's spend some time to look into that. First, what are the tasks which we can typically do from home? Remote bookkeeping. Now, bookkeeping, we all know that, generally there are two types of clients, where some clients we have entered into a monthly retainer model, where the client, regularly gives all the transactions and we do the tally accounting, or, whatever online mode of accounting, such as QuickBooks or Zoho Books, etc. Now comes the interesting question. There are a good number of clients who come to us only in the month of June, July, or probably September and say that, sir, these are the transactions, please finalize, please do the accounting. Well, the first question is, can we sort of do a remote bookkeeping for these folks? Now comes the interesting question, sir. When you say remote bookkeeping, then I have an interesting challenge. How can I do the accounting? Because the data is in my office. Yes, if you are using a tally sort of a system, I agree that is a challenge. But try to see if you have the last version of the tally backup and restore it within your own system. I have heard of many CA firms. What they have done is, the office server or the main CPU, that itself they have brought it to their home. Now, this why they did it was, they said that at least through somehow I'll be able to give data connectivity and access. That makes sense. But assuming you are in a scenario where you were not able to plan all of this, so what do I do? If that is the case, to give an example, this is a good time for you to get into cloud-based accounting. For instance, if you use an accounting software such as, Zoho Financial Suite of products, or, your Zoho Books, they are giving their software free for the first 1 or 2 years for all the GST registered SSCs whose turnover is up to 1.5 crores. And you know what the beauty of this is? Since it is a cloud-based accounting software, they have an integration with the bank. Not every bank, of course, some banks. The moment you integrate it with that bank account, automatically all of this comes into your transactions and the debit or the credit leg of the entry is already passed. That means what do you have to do? You need to only do the classification. And my dear friends, this can be done even in a mobile app. Don't you think that saves so much amount of time? Even if your article staff is not having laptop, he can convert his mobile phone into a workstation. That is possible to example 2. QuickBooks has another feature called as QuickBook Online Accounting Software. Now this online accountant software. So this is a scenario where they give you about minimum X number of licenses, of course, against a prescribed fee. And using that as a CA, you can take up multiple licenses. You know, so for instance, Tally, one Tally file, you can have multiple clients, but you need not pay multiple license fee. Whereas the cloud accounting does not operate on that concept, but they have come up with a discounted price, which is applicable only for CS. Probably the external pricing may be, let us say, 5,000 rupees. Here the pricing is only for CS, it's only about 2,000 or 1,000 rupees. That's another option which you can explore. Again, between QuickBooks, Zoho Books, there are a lot of advantages and disadvantages, and there are a host of other cloud applications. I will leave that to your judgment to explore. Then comes a very interesting question. I can spend a good amount of time finalizing my own income tax returns and my own firm's returns. With all due respect, many a times we focus on client delivery and little do we, somewhere our returns also we push it to the last end. We have a good amount of time. Why don't we finalize that? So there is a whole lot of things which we can do in bookkeeping itself. I'll give one more example before I move to the next. Many of our clients, 70% of the transactions or the narration or the description what they have is the same. But there is a lot of inconsistency in the way the tally or the basic accounting file is recorded. Can I bring those into some sort of a reconciliation so that if a person credit card expenditure or A expenditure or B expenditure is there, it will always go to that particular ledger only for all of them. Now, how does this make a relevance over here? It makes a lot of relevance because many of us, we finish the tally accounting. From there, we have to push this into the income tax software. And I see that 90 to 95% of us use income tax or GST software. 5 to 10% of them directly go to the website or use the tax utility. Of course, the proportion may change. But we spend a huge amount of time in converting in the format we have versus the format which is desired. Why don't we build a simple macro or a simple automation logic which can take from A to B format? And this we have done it for many of our own clients, and we have been able to save a good amount of time. Let me quickly move to the next area, reconciliation. We all know that reconciliation takes a major time of a professional firm, and this can be utilized, and this time can be rather utilized. What are the reconciliations? Classical example is GST. To download GST, my dear friends, if you have the username and password, which is reasonably available somewhere, or assuming you're still not able to access, reset the account password. It will go to the proprietor or the partner, ask him to share it. You will be able to reset it. Download GSTR 1, 2, 2A, 3B, whatever are the returns. See how best you can try to do simple summaries with the help of that. That's a good amount of reconciliation which you can do. Income tax. Many of us have to reconcile Form 26AS versus the actual transaction. Spend some time in doing it. Your statutory audit or your tax audit purposes, correct? You are required to do a lot of reconciliation. Right? Why don't you spend some time on that? Your tedious reconciliations, your accounts, your credit or debtor confirmation. Spend quality time in this. I'm sure you'll be able to, make use of this particular time. Next, assuming these things are also not possible, we can spend a huge amount of time in just upskilling yourself. And when I use the word upskilling yourself, there's a whole lot of e-learning which is available. And in fact, I'm very thankful to the chairman of the Amritsar branch for arranging this sort of a webinar where you are able to see and understand on a quick basis what exactly. I am sitting here in Bangalore, you are sitting in Amritsar, and we are able to get connected thanks to the power of technology. YouTube has got hundreds of courses available. Our own ICAI is almost every day or every alternate day, they're coming up with some or the other e-learning or some of the other courses. I'm not sure if you're aware, ICAI has come up with a digital learning hub. you can probably log in over there. There are at least a few basic courses which you can spend some time and see how best you can inform your article staff or your staff to get trained. Remember, it is not sufficient if we alone are trained. Even the training has to flow down the cycle. Even our team, our staff have to be trained. Only then the rate of error keeps reducing. Please keep in mind, after the COVID era, I think all of us should take a promise to ourselves that 70 to 80% of our time only we focus on the client delivery, 10 to 20% of our time we focus on upskilling, we focus on marketing, we focus on new avenues, try to network, because all this is necessary. Only then we'll be alive in the future. And of course, reading. There could have been the latest amendments. I'm sure, recently the Finance Act was passed, correct? There were some changes between the Finance Bill and the Finance Act. So do all this sort of a reading, upskill yourself, read books, and there's a good time for you. Next, a very, very interesting thing which we did in our office, and I'm sure it'll give a lot of weightage, doing surveys. When I use the word surveys, here we are referring to speak or check with your clients, with your staff, with various people, what are the tasks available. You can do a simple survey, for understanding what is the knowledge level of each of your article staff. I did a simple exercise. I use an office management software. I went to the office management software, downloaded all the list of services. Under each of the list of services, I had one head. For example, company law, these are the works which we do. Income tax, these are the works which we do. I put them into an Excel sheet. I went to Google, spreadsheet, Google Forms. I created a form and I asked a simple question. On a scale of 1, 2, and 3, please rate what is the category of knowledge which you have in each of these areas. That's all. My staff replied to it and I understood whatever I thought my staff had knowledge, I was actually taken aback. I realized that I need to upskill them to a large extent in certain areas. And this is the golden opportunity. In fact, we made a policy in our office that every week you'll have minimum 2 or 3 trainings. And those people who are having very less work for various reasons, maybe that person is a fresher, we have to train them, or the work has to be done in one-to-one correlation, I started giving them more training. And these trainings are powered by 2. One staff does this training for the other staff, or my audit manager does the training for my other trainees. And while the training is going on, I started recording these sessions. What is the advantage? Next time when my juniors or when my new article staff comes in, I will just put them into one room, ask them to go through all those videos. They will be in a better position to understand and answer my queries. Second, what are the tasks available with my audit staff? And when I say the tasks available, these are basically what are the tasks they have in their hand. Because every time we delegate a particular task to each of the staff and we would have orally communicated. So we wanted to understand how many more tasks they have and how much time they will take. So roughly I knew for the next 1 week they have work. After that, they don't have work. So what did I do? I started sending mails to all my clients. Please download all the please download all the bank statements. Please download all these documents. Send it to us. We would like to begin the process of audit, the accounting remotely starting from now. And in fact, if the clients do not respond after a point in time, I am in fact thinking of, sort of also sending emails to them. If you get back to me by another week, I will give you a discount on my audit fee. Whereas if you come back in the month of August or September, please be ready for me that I will be charging you a premium fee. Let us start doing Uber-based pricing for our clients. They will really understand what the value of our time is. And of course, take up client feedback. Take up client feedback summary. Train your staff. I think I spoke about webinar. Try to do a lot of meetings. Train your clients. Let me give you a classical example. Just 2 weeks back, the government came up with a huge amount of notifications, relaxations, relief measures, etc. Now, few of our clients would have read on the newspaper. Few of the clients wouldn't have read on the newspaper, whatever it may be. Why don't you take up a simple training session? Why don't you do a simple meeting? And tools are available today for a click of a button. Many of the online training companies or online video platform companies have free calling facilities. To give an example, all of us are connected through Zoom. Zoom has a feature where up to 40 minutes and up to 100 participants, you can have a conversation or a video call. Now, don't you think that's a very good thing to get started? The answer is yes. Why don't we try that? So there are a whole lot of things like this which are available. The question is only how we can go ahead and start doing it. Next, why can't we prepare benchmarking or collective preparation reports? Let me give a classical example. Those of you who are doing transfer pricing would be able to appreciate my point. Many of us, when we do transfer pricing, we have to do a comparison of various companies' returns, balance sheets, etc. We go try to take up some report, we go try to take some third party. Why can't we do the benchmark exercise now? Point number one. Point number two, why can't I benchmark the financial statements of my clients with other clients? Am I doing the proper disclosure? Am I doing appropriate accounting? Just form a small consortium, form a small team, and see how best whatever documents are there you can share. Of course, ensuring that the client name is not revealed, try to come up with common checklist. Make a team of 5 people. Two CA firms does income tax checklist, 2 CA firm does GST checklist, 2 CA firm does company law checklist, and all of you share with everybody. We have come up with a collective resource pool. My dear friends, the way you design it will be much more better than whatever regulator or XYZ would have done, because you know what the challenges your clients are facing. Next, organize files and folders. Probably I'm not referring over here to physical files and folders. I'm referring to your desktop or your system. Many times when I go for a client engagement or a meeting, the moment the client opens their desktop, I see a whole lot of hodgepodge files. Please understand, if there are too many files on your desktop, it means it's an indicator that you are not organized. Why don't we try to take up some baby steps to organize these things? Next, set up a date with your client. When was the last time you spoke with your client in detail? When was the last time you took various views and had an informal discussion with your client? I think this is a good time for you. Network with people. Use tools like LinkedIn. There's a whole lot of people who are there. Connect and meet people. Of course, please ensure we are adhering to ICAI Code of Ethics. You can probably speak to your client and tell them that, sir, half an hour I'm free for you today. Please ask me any questions and queries. Or inform your just publish a small calendar saying that, these are my available slots. Feel free to call me and ask anything relating to income tax, personal tax, family succession planning, HUF planning, and there are a whole lot of things which our client will definitely have some or the other. And assuming they don't have, you only take up an area and try doing it. Because the moment a client realizes that we value them, we are taking extra care for them, they would definitely respect us. And when immediately after the the lockdown period, the moment they come back to us, I am not sure whether they will increase our audit fee, but they will at least ensure my audit fee is honored on time. I think there are a couple of people who are not on mute. May I please request you people to go on mute so that it doesn't disturb the flow? Yeah, I think that we are good. Thank you. Identify opportunities where we can do consulting and advisory. Let's take a simple example. Ministry of Home Affairs came up with a clarification where they said certain type of industries can actually manufacture masks because of this COVID-19 scenario. Now, textile companies who were earlier manufacturing a different type of a product, they have the empowerment to manufacture masks, which means businesses using their resources can modify themselves and start manufacturing. Why don't we do research on that? Why don't we take up cases like this and see how best we can actually take it? So all these things could definitely be opportunities where we can take up some or other consulting advisory. And very important, the future of our profession is that all the compliances which we do on a day-to-day basis is slowly going to move away from our hands. Look at our own firm or during either our article show time. Sorry, can we please mute yourself? Thank you. I think there's a person by name Redme. If you could just please mute yourself so that it doesn't disturb the rest. And may I please request the host, there is an option called as make mute mandatory the moment a participant enters. You can just enable that so that it doesn't disturb. You will find that option under the security tab. under the settings. In the home screen, you will find a security tab. You will be able to see that. Thank you so much. Okay. Why don't we identify consulting or advisory opportunities? When we say consulting and advisory opportunities, most of us, with all due respect, have gone with the traditional domain of tax compliances, ROC compliances, GST compliances. We have really not bothered to do some sort of an advisory. Let's take a simple example. Let us do a simple check. What are all the expenditure which that client of ours is incurring, and see whether has he actually claiming GST credit for each of that. A classical example, bank charges. Most of the time, clients do not claim GST credit on bank charges. You might be thinking, sir, that's about 5 rupees, 10 rupees. But every time there is a loan processing fee, it may run to 5,000, sometimes even 10,000. I've seen cases even of 50,000. And imagine the GST on that, 18% of 50,000 or 18% of 5,000. It is definitely some sort of a saving. Don't you think so? So there are a whole lot of opportunities which we can identify, and this is popularly called as mining. This is popularly called as mining. Mining is a situation, I mean, there's a data analytics term where you actually go into the deeper and deeper, try to get gold out of it. The same way, try to just analyze your balance sheet and try what best you can do. Another exercise which you can do, take up 3 or 4 clients' balance sheet. Between the years, see how the economy has performed, how the growth rate in that industry is, and how your client is performed. Just give a simple report. Even a one-pager report with your analysis, the client will seriously respect it. With all due respect, many a times I have seen clients thinking that our value, what we add, is very limited. Why? Because we are lost, and this we cannot do anything about it. We are lost mostly with compliances, regulatory requirement, etc. That little do we realize how best we can add value. And I'm sure each one of us can add value to our clients' activities. And that is what is our unique selling proposition. Don't you think so? And of course, spend time in digitizing your CFM. And this is the right time for you to digitize your CFM. How do we do it? It all starts with simple tools, solutions. Some details of it I'll obviously be covering in this session, because there's not an exclusive digitization session. Probably in some other webinar I can cover that, but I would be happy to speak a few tips. For instance, one of the biggest challenge which we face in our office is that the data resides in one place, or the backup is not taken. We use external hard disk, we use some memory drives, we use so many things. Why don't you come up with simple solutions for that? For instance, Google Drive, OneDrive, Zoho Drive, Dropbox, these are all softwares which are available. You can install them as a desktop version. Now, what will happen if I install them as a desktop version? The moment I install them as a desktop version, an icon will be sitting into your D drive, C drive, whatever drive of your computer, and slowly start saving the data inside that particular folder. For instance, you have D drive. Inside D drive, OneDrive or Google Drive. Inside Google Drive, save the same data. Now, what is the advantage? The moment you save all the data over here, for you, it doesn't make a big difference. But assuming a scenario you want to access that data anywhere across the world, as long as you have internet connection, you can enter the username and password. You can see what is the data. A simple way to synchronize your data. There are so many other examples. You can use a workflow management tool, which I'll be covering a little later. We'll probably speak a little more. So I hope I was able to give some sort of a value addition on the work from home tasks which we can do. And I'm sure, my dear friends, I have so much of work which is available, because getting free time of a chartered accountant is not that very easy. Correct? This is, of course, on the professional front. On a personal front, there's so many things which you can do. Spending some time in the kitchen, probably getting to spending time with your parents, spending time with your kids, and the list keeps on going. I would obviously not want to touch that, because you are the best in that domain. Now, the second part of my presentation, what are the tools which are utmost essential wherever we have to do a work from home? The first and foremost, I will not call it as first and foremost, rather there are a few basic tools which are necessary, which you see on the slide. Collaboration tools, communication tools, productivity tools, tracking tasks, and remotely accessing. Now, why am I saying all these are necessary? Each of them have a specific purpose. Let's spend some time to understand what each of this. Communication. We need to have meetings. We need to have discussions with training articles, internal discussions, screen sharing, a whole lot of things you need to do. Staff, you need to communicate, internal discussion, track work, various things we need to do. Now, what you see on the right-hand side of the screen, Zoom, Cisco WebEx, GoToMeeting, all of these companies provide a meeting platform. A classical example of meeting platform is what we are seeing now. Bottom, whatever you see, these are typically staff communication platforms, Slack, Flock, and Microsoft Teams. If you have subscribed to Microsoft Office 365, Teams is free for you. Otherwise, I think it comes with a premium. Flock, Slack, all of these are communication platform as similar to that of WhatsApp. But you must be thinking, sir, I already have WhatsApp. Why this? The problem with WhatsApp is, no doubt it has a lot of advantages and disadvantages. You cannot distinguish between what is a personal and a business conversation, especially with your, let's say, your staff. Your staff might have messaged, sir, I'm on leave, this is not working, that is not working. Okay, you also want to speak to them with respect to work. How do I track it? Let's look into a simple example. This is Flock, a screenshot of Flock, how it looks like. And this is typically how you can see value addition. What do they say? In the left hand side, whatever you see, this is quite similar to a WhatsApp window in desktop if you have seen that. You can share, you can collaborate, you can create multiple groups, you can create multiple tasks, and all of this is possible. In fact, even if you want to engage your client, you can just share a link and the client can become part of this. He just has to download an app and keep on conversing. It becomes easier. There's a whole lot of things which is possible. Of course, yes, this comes with a price. Probably if you go to their website, you can explore them. But please keep in mind, many of these companies have giving at least free versions for 2 months, 3 months, etc. And I think it's time that you explore that. Just keep in mind the security and various aspects which you can read up online. You'll get a lot of information. The next area which you can spend some time is collaboration and productivity. Now, collaboration and productivity is basically how you share the data with your friends, how you share your data with your clients, how you share data within your office. You require a file repository. I think I gave an example of Google Drive, OneDrive. You require a place where you can back up your data. Large files you require to be stored. You can want to access it anywhere over the web, and these are the solutions which are available. What you see on the left, your Google suite of products, you have your Microsoft suite of products, all of this have this facility. In addition, assuming your staff says, sir, I don't have Microsoft Office, or for various reasons you do not have the adequate licenses, there are multiple open office applications. An example, WPS is an open office application. I think there's something called as Kingston open office application. Open office refers to free softwares which are available, which can be, I repeat, which can be used without any sort of a license requirement. They may not give you the same features of Excel, but at least about 80 to 90% of features of Excel they will give you, including the core important features. I think that is more than enough for you. This is an example of the Google Drive, which I told you. You will just have Google Drive as an icon somewhere there. I've also had Dropbox. Inside that I can have a folder called company. Inside that I can put all of this, and my dear friends, this is the time we can get all these things organized. In fact, you can put in one of the employees' work is to only organize these folders and keep them in order. There's a whole lot of times which you can save the next time. And there's a whole lot of exercises which we can do. I'll give another example. Last 1 year, we have been generating UDINs. Do we have a track of which UDIN was generated for what purpose? The answer is no. Now, why do you want to track that, you might ask? Sir, you have to track it because that becomes a part of your audit documentation. Now, do I have a list of it? No. Ask one of the employees to go sit and download all of this. Within few minutes, you will get it done. Correct? So there is a whole lot of things in terms of housekeeping, in terms of cleaning ourselves, which we can do. When I say ourselves, I'm referring to the organization process, which we can definitely do. Next, very interesting. Are there any specific software which can track tasks? Yes, tracking tasks is utmost crucial. Now, why do I say tracking tasks is very crucial? You need to know for each of the employee how many tasks you have given them, how much is completed. And before I assign the task, I should know what are all the pending tasks. Otherwise, what happens? The employee and you probably might tend to forget. And as a result of it, we might probably miss out a deadline. And then the last minute client comes to us, it becomes haphazard. Correct? What you see on the center screen, Clockify. It is an app which is free to a certain extent, up to a minimum number of users, I think about 10 or 20, which is a wonderful time tracking and task management app. You can probably go and explore that. The website details, you can just search for it, you will get it. Of course, this PPT also will be given to you with a few more links of few softwares which you can take it. And I've mentioned the details of multiple software in my book. You can probably take a copy of that. Cordial. This is an interesting practice management software which has a simple tracking capability. At the same time, my dear friends, it has one unique feature which I liked it a lot. Assuming your staff has uploaded a file and you want to, sort of verify that, you have to download that only, then verify. This software has a simple feature, view or preview. The moment you say view or preview, you are not downloading the work paper of your article staff. You are seeing the work paper within the desktop screen. Imagine the advantage of it. You don't spend too much bandwidth time in downloading. Whatever changes you want to make it then and there. The file is saved, so much of time saved. And Cordial recently came up with an agreement with our ICAI. You can probably go and visit the ICAI website. You can download this for a certain nominal fee or for discounted fee if your team size is smaller. Likewise, Simplify Practice also has a tie-up, but I think the tie-up expires somewhere this year or next year. Papilio is another tool which can be used for tracking CA office tasks. On the other end, Trello is a wonderful tool, but it is a general workflow management tool. It is not designed for a CA firm, but you can definitely consider it. Bitrix is another option, and what you see on the extreme left corner is basically Google Sheets, which is also another option. This is how a typical dashboard of Clockify looks like. Of course, I will also take you through some live demos so that you are able to practically understand and you get a perspective of what exactly these tools are. Okay, so this is a Clockify which I told you, wherever possible you can use that. And the last is to do remote access. You need to access screen, you need to review the work, you need to explain or clarify, because you may explain something your staff is not able to understand. Then you say, send me the photo in WhatsApp, main bolunga kahan par mistake hai. These all becomes difficult. Instead, you can use an AnyDesk or Microsoft Remote Desktop, TeamViewer, etc. But please keep in mind, all of these softwares, if you are using free or evaluation version, they have a restriction on the license and usage. In other words, they clearly say that you cannot use this for commercial purposes. When you cannot use it for commercial purposes, that means it becomes difficult for you as a CA firm to typically use it, because we are using it for commercial purposes. If that be the case, how do I solve this problem? And that is where it also comes to the next question. Is there one solution which can help me for all of these things? And those are available today. You can communicate, collaborate, track tasks, remotely access, and productivity also can be tracked. And most important, it is available for free for some point in time, not forever. Obviously, nothing is free in the world, but it is available for free some point in time. Zoho Remotely. Zoho Remotely is a suite of products which they came up with, and it's a very, very interesting. Of course, I'll share the link also with you towards the end. They came up with about 6 to 8 products. It's another company. Again, not that I endorse it. The reason I'm speaking a little extra in detail is, for A, I am using it, finding a lot of benefit out of it. And second, most important, it is free for the next few days. Makes sense for us to invest into it, correct? What all can it do? It has features like Click, Meeting, Showtime. These are basically client collaboration. You can discuss, you can meet. Work Drive is typically like a Google Drive or your Microsoft OneDrive. Your projects is a track management software, quite simple, easy to use. Sprints probably may not be relevant for a CA. I'm ignoring that. Assist is my personal favorite. It is basically screen sharing. And the beauty of a screen sharing normally is you have to be there, only then give the access. Assist has a feature called unmanned access. Beautiful thing. And this Zoho also has come up with another software called Zoho Lens, which probably is not there. I'll also take you through that. And it is possible for any of you to actually see how, if you have to do remote audit, there are few softwares available. I'll explain that. And last, document, spreadsheet, and PPT, which is nothing but your, Word document, your Excel sheet, and PowerPoint. Now, the reason, as I told you, why I'm spending a little more on this is because of this very, very favorite line which I found in their website. It will remain free until July 1st, 2020. Of course, they came up as a measure to help out many of the smaller firms, in terms of coronavirus, how best they can work from home. And they built an entire suite of products very quickly and very instantly. And what I thought I will make over here, this is the summary of the suite of products which we made a mention. And this lens which I'm showing you over here, which is next to this assist, probably you'll be able to see my screen here. That is one of the software which has augmented reality assisted remote support. Now, what is this? Now, let's take a scenario. I want to do a remote physical verification of assets. It is possible using the software. What the software does is, you sit on the laptop, you send a link to the person who is on the remote location. That fellow, whoever that gentleman or that person is, he or she can download that software and go to a particular place, and the camera of that person is visible on your screen. Now see how best you can do. And all these physical verification, you can spend some time on this. So there's a whole lot of benefit which you have by using this Zoho Remotely app. So I'll spend a few minutes to show a live demo just to see how best this app can be used. So let me quickly flip screen. So I will also click on new share. Please share the tab. All right. I'm presuming you're able to see my screen. Okay, so this is the thing which I was making a mention. They're pretty free for at least for the next few days. And of course, there are a suite of products which you see over here, which you can use it. Let me quickly take you to the dashboard. This dashboard has a unique advantage. It's called as an admin panel. You can decide to whom you want to give access and to whom you want to disable the access. A wonderful feature again. You can just say that, these are all the various applications, and this is the chat platform. All my organization members have it. Meetings, I've not given it to everybody. Work drive, I've given it only to select people. Projects, I have not implemented, therefore it's not there. Assist, all those people who want to do remote sharing, I've given them the access. So like this, I have given a list of these applications to whomever it is necessary. And I can decide to whom, what type of access I need to give. I can decide who's the admin, etc. The most important thing is, this is A, which is of course your admin portal. Second, if I go click on the apps which I have, if I go click on Click is my personal favorite. Now what this app does is, it's like a communication platform within my organization. I go click on this particular icon. It immediately takes me to this website, and I can establish a virtual chat between any of the persons, any of in my organization. I'll quickly take you through my organization's webpage. So you can see a host of our colleagues over here. We have an option where we discuss the daily updates. We have few other conversations, let's say training, some audit, some funny things like fancy dress competition. We can do a whole lot of things, and these things are possible in a quick instance. And there's a powerful feature which I would also like to show over here, which is called reminder. So I can also talk about the various events which is lined up, which is my calendar. I can have the various reminders, what is assigned for me, what is assigned to others. And what it will do is, the moment if I click on this particular task and I say remind all, it will send a reminder instantly to everybody, powered by a bot. I can do a lot of things over here, and there's an interesting app which you can explore. The next app I would like to probably spend some time is Meetings, my personal favorite. If I have to set up a meeting one-on-one with my client, all that I have to do is download this particular thing, set up a meeting now. Set up a meeting called Meet Now or webinar. or schedule a meeting, and instantly it is possible. Of course, the video conferencing feature is a new thing which they have added. You can probably go and explore. I have an icon over here. I can just say meet now, and I can instantly set up a video conversation. And this is possible, my dear friends, with a click of a button. All right, so these are basically what is the features available. You can just set up a meeting and quickly have a conversation. It'll ask you whether to choose phone call or computer audio. Choose computer audio. It'll obviously ask you for mic and phone camera access. Camera access is disabled because another app is using. I just say start meeting, and yes, my meeting gets started. And it has powerful features where I can record it, I can share the screen, I can chat, I can see the various attendees, etc., etc. Now let's quickly move to the next area, which will probably spend some time, is on work drive. Work drive is quite similar to that of your organization specific drive, or you can probably call it as a Google Drive or OneDrive. You have a host of things which is lined up over here, various activities you can definitely discuss with your clients and staff. Then the other important thing which I want to make a mention is this tool called Assist. Assist has this powerful feature, which is nothing but remotely accessing the screen. So the moment I click on Assist, it'll take me to a portal. One is the remote support. It's quite similar to that of a team viewer or AnyDesk. Unattended access is my personal favorite. Now, what happens many a times, we have to use a system which is available in our office, and that system I want to access it from remote. So all that I do is I double click on the system 3. I just say join. Okay. Immediately it will take me through the window, and it will, without even password, login credentials, etc., it will obviously help me to access that particular screen or that particular window. Let me click it once again. I think I forgot to terminate the previous session. It is just taking me to that particular screen or that particular system. And from here, I can do everything what is necessary and just shut it. Of course, I need to take care of security. I don't give it to anybody, and I can choose to whom I want to give the access, whom I don't want. So you can see on the extreme right corner, Zoho Assist, and my name appears there. I can just push this and I can just say, please enter the credentials, and I can just log in. I am just doing the work what AnyDesk or TeamViewer can do, but AnyDesk and TeamViewer, there should be somebody to give the access. Here, this is not required. So this is another powerful feature which you can definitely consider exploring. And the last thing which I'll probably take a minute to explain to you in this particular, which is another favorite of mine, is Lens. This is what is the tool which I told you. You can do a sort of a remote audit with this. So I click on this. It will immediately take me through a portal, and from that I get a link. Now this link, I can just say start now, and a session gets established, and this particular session ID, I have to give it to my end user, and I've asked them to download this particular app and use this. The moment I do this, of course, I cannot do it as of now. The moment I do this, that person will I will be able to see the camera of that person, and I can also draw something on the screen which will visible for that particular person in his camera. For instance, if I feel that, this particular place, please focus a little more, I can in fact zoom over here. I can have the complete control of his camera. Of course, after the session is over, he can terminate and he can uninstall the app. So these are the host of benefits which are available in these sort of softwares. Let me quickly come back to the main screen which I was explaining. So I hope you got an idea how these softwares are available. Okay, so Click is the software which I made a mention, which is my personal favorite. It has a lot of discussions, and we are using this. And using Click, we can have audio call, video call, screen sharing. Everything is possible in a click of a button. Now, many of the CAs were asking, is remote access possible in Tally? Yes, I've also written an article. You will find it in the ICAI website. You have to just ensure the Tally TSS subscription is active. Go to the control center, use your username and password. The moment you enter your username and password, username is nothing but whatever you see in the account ID. From there, enter the password. If you have forgotten the password, please reset it and go to the user management. Here you can go type the Tally net ID of a concerned person. He or she will get an email through which you can automatically access Tally. And this, even if the end user does not have educational version, you can still use it. On the other end, if this is not possible, you still have another feature which you can do, where you can actually give, ask your concerned employee to download Tally for 30 days free, which is available today. One of the rare things which happens, they are giving 30 days free Tally access mapped to a particular account ID and password. Anybody can use it without any fee. Because of this COVID-19, they have come up with that sort of initiative. And how do I give access to a particular employee or a particular user ID? Go to the security vault, enable that user and password, and please give them the access credentials. So this is typically how you spend and give the access into Tally system. And let's quickly move to the penultimate section. What are the few security considerations for me as an organization? Because there are a lot of things which is happening in and around us, I seriously recommend that we need to educate our employees and staff. And how do we use that? Simple thing, please ask them to use strong passwords. A password should not be your name, family name, organization name, your date of birth, etc. Try going beyond that. Beware of remote desktop tools. For example, the Zoho Assist, which I told you, that's an example of remote desktop tools. Make sure that the access is terminated immediately after the work is over. Set up two-factor authentication, something like, the moment you log in, you get an OTP. Look out for phishing emails. Phishing emails have been sent across various people, targeting, it's saying that, latest update on COVID-19, latest cases, or something urgently which you have to do, otherwise you'll not get the benefit. So people get panic and they click the link, a malware is getting downloaded, all their money or all their balance, everything may get wiped off. Use a VPN, again, that's an optional, depends on company to company. Please lock the device. And very, very important, your home Wi-Fi, please secure it. Most of us, you have the home Wi-Fi, do not have a security or a password, or the Wi-Fi has a default security 192.168. something. Please ensure the password is not admin 12345. Please make an attempt to change that. Few other things, hackers target persons rather than devices. They trick by creating a sense of urgency. So, calling from customer care, calling from technical support, please ensure that is taken care. Ensure your home network and your wireless network routers are protected. You can enable WPA2 encryption, that is the bare minimum encryption, and most of the Wi-Fi modems come with that. Passwords, ensure your passwords are with many characters. A passphrase such as would be difficult for anybody to guess it. Use a password manager app if necessary. Ensure you have two-step verification. Please ensure your softwares are updated. Cyber attackers are constantly looking for new vulnerabilities and issues. Please enable two-factor authentication. And if you have kids at home or if you have guests at home, please make it a point that they do not use your work system, or assuming they use, please ensure you have adequate precautions. If I want to give you a security checklist, this is a simple security checklist. The PPT would be given to you. If you want to, you can take a screenshot or a clip of this image so that you get an idea. And the last, or the penultimate section, tips for working from home. Implement a work routine. Preferably start early. When I use the word start early, this is typically what I do. I start as early as sometimes even 8:30 or 9 o'clock in the morning. Immediately what I do, I assign work or I have calls, I immediately finish this. I give the flexibility to my employee, was as long as you're working and giving me the target delivery, I am okay. You feel free to have flexible working hours. Plan your day early. Preferably plan it and plan your day much before, at least the previous day. It'll help you out to save a whole lot of time. Speak and connect with your team regularly, have calls, have sort of, informal discussions, conference calls, video calls, have some fun element. We had a fancy dress competition in our office. We had a team lunch where everybody had to come in front of the camera and, just have lunch, and we were just sharing stories, etc. Employee communication, follow up, change our mindset. This is one biggest thing to accept. Assume a scenario that this extension of whatever this lockdown is further extended. That means we're almost looking a little more than a month of lockdown. So that means the way we start doing work, we cannot say that for 1 month I will not do any work. Obviously it's going to have an economic impact. Correct? Try to see how best you can do. Follow up and calls post lunch. It is highly preferred. That makes a lot of sense. Take adequate breaks. Please ensure you use technology to be connected. Read, update yourself, define a target time. Before, after this, I will not touch my laptop, because you need to have a work-life boundary. And as leaders, it is time we get or move into this new way of managing work. On that note, Please make sure that you have regularly exercised. Otherwise, it may probably create some sort of a challenge, and make sure that you keep yourself fit. It may be walking up the stairs, it may be just doing some neck exercises, or anything for that matter. Please keep yourself fit. And this is my last, or additional section, which I thought a bonus section, which I'll speak about. How do I gear up for the future? When I use the word gear up for the future, I'm talking about the post-COVID-19 era. Now, this is something which is very, very surprising, to some extent disappointing, to some extent shocking. World Economic Forum in the year 2018 came up with a survey called as Future of Job Reports. In that survey, they spoke about few roles which are going to be stable, few roles which are going to disappear, and few roles which are redundant. And you know what? The shocking fact is, under the redundant roles, you will be surprised to see who is actually appearing there. Guess who? You will find data entry clerks, accounting, bookkeeping, payroll clerks. And not just them, accountant and auditors, statistical finance, insurance clerks. All these people are going to probably lose their job. When I use the word lose their job, I am referring to a scenario where the relevance will significantly come down. 10 years from now, accounting will not be manual, banks would be connected, real-time audit is possible with the help of IoT, blockchain, AI-powered accounting is going to be there, analytics-driven risk management, all of these are going to come up. So how do I gear up for the profession 2.0? For that, you can probably bucket yourself under the small chart which I've given you so that you get an idea. The profession 1.0, you are focusing on tax filing, traditional audit, MIS reporting, engagement on demand, local presence, etc. Profession 2.0, probably take up tax filing automation, AI and analytics enabled audit, advanced analytics and visualization, decision making, forecasting. So whole lot of work domain changes. This is nothing but the shift between the manual method to the mechanization method. For example, long back in 1930, when cars became very prominent, all those people who knew how to ride a Tonga or a bullock cart were scared. They said, we are losing our job. But what did they do? They learned how to drive a car. This is exactly the transformation we need to do. We need to know how to use the technology so that we are still relevant in the future. Second, if you are into corporate, if you are into business, if you are into industry, see how best you can turn out technology for your advantage. You can try to focus on forecast, you can try to use cloud-based reporting, you can use RPA, robotic process automation, AI-driven internal audit, predictive analytics, and my dear, the list is endless. So few predictions, future area of practice, my dear friends. This is a trend report which we made in the year 2020 beginning. Correct, but maybe I would say 60% of this was only possible for the year 2020, considering COVID. We are going to see a slowdown in the forecast. So increase in automation and digital transformation, smarter use of AI, rise in RPA driven solutions, increase in predictive analytics, blockchain cases moving beyond proof of concept, stricter data privacy law. India is also expecting to be having a data privacy law very soon, and I'm also speaking about that in various seminars and various avenues. Newer fintech models powered by AI, powered by analytics. Data governance will become important. Standardization of analytics-driven audit, IoT powered solutions in finance. In other areas we are seeing in finance, it will come up. Data breach may become a top cybersecurity threat. So these are a few examples or a few forecasts which could probably be there for 2020 and for the period beyond. Remote working is going to be the new model of business. Everything would be driven through the cloud in the future. E-commerce of CA practice is going to be very, very, very prominent. CA coupled with domain expertise and technology skills will be a huge demand. Accounting would be automated. Data would be the single most valuable asset. The power of AI and big data will identify a lot of new things. AI will move from a tool to a service provider. Robots would do compliance, and most important, my personal favorite, human intelligence would still be the most valued asset. On that note, these are a few examples of opportunities which are available for CES in the future: analytics, cybersecurity, data privacy, emerging technology, governance, forensic audit, social media advisory, various things like this. And I think it's time that we get ourselves upgraded to various things like this. On that note, I'll give you a few links for remote working and few other presentations which I've spoken about. You can definitely have a look into it. On that note, I think we all have to move on from the so-called method of handshake to the traditional method of namaste. I'll be happy to take questions. And the reason why I made it very crisp and short is because I'm sure you've been hearing a lot of things on remote working and various things. I wanted to drive home the point. What is the strategy? How you gear up for it? That is the most important thing. What tools you can use? I gave a few demo. I thought I'll keep a good amount of time for question and answers, and over to the organizers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Could you please also guide us on how can we shift our servers to the cloud so that all clients and all our employees and staff members can work from home? Some of us could have more data or complex softwares which could not be used on Zoho or some of the apps that you showed us. Could you throw light on that as well, please?
Sure, I will definitely do that. First, we need to understand or make a list of what are the types of software which we have. For instance, Tally will not work on the cloud. We should be aware of that. What you can do is, you can try to use Tally with remote access feature. For that, you need to have tally.net enabled. At the same time, you can use software such as this Zoho Assist or screen sharing or team viewer, etc. You can share the screen and have a look into it. Or assuming even that is not possible, I think we need to get into upgraded version of the solution. For instance, you can go for cloud-based accounting software, cloud-based tax compliance software, etc. Point number one. Point number two, many of the companies or many of the software subscriptions, it falls for renewal from 1st of April. Correct. So it's time for us, we renew under that category instead of renewing under other categories. It makes a lot of sense. And third, there are many of these softwares who have come up with a simple method where you can surrender the existing license and enable the new license within your laptop. So these are few methods which I would suggest for those softwares which you cannot immediately use it, or for those softwares where you have restrictions in terms of sharing it.
All right, sir. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Members, in case you have any queries, please feel free to ask.
Yeah, any question relating to automation, digitization, anything on technology, emerging technologies, ABCD of technology, feel free to ask because this is the right forum. Yeah, I see a person asking a question. Okay, NIRC has already started yoga classes. That's wonderful. I think that's good. We should all keep ourselves fit mentally and physically. If you're finding it a little difficult to type the message, you can raise your hand, or I'm sure the organizer can unmute you and then you can ask your question.
In case you have any queries, please unmute yourself and ask your query.
Hi, Narasimhan.
Hello. Sir, if you could please
Narasimhan,
introduce yourself, please.
Yeah, Narasimhan, this is Ashish Lakhotia and I'm calling from Gurgaon.
Please tell me.
The question is now that, today only there have been certain messages and also an advisory from the government that the Zoom is not the right means. And in case you are doing payments, please don't use Zoom. So, what to do then now, because we are now so addicted to Zoom. Can you please enlighten all of us on this?
Okay, so for those of you who are, you've come across, the ministry has come up with a few remedies based on which you can still continue to use Zoom app. So you can probably consider using those remedies. Point number one. Point number two, assuming you still want to defer or not use Zoom app, there are good number of softwares which are still available. For instance, Zoho Meetings, Zoho Webinar is available free of cost for a few days. Cisco WebEx is available. Up to 100 users, it is free for unlimited calling Cisco WebEx, but to create an account, it takes at least about a week's time. So that's a major challenge with them. You have few other companies like GoToMeeting, another 40 minutes to 1 hour, you can set up meetings. So I think we should start using alternate solution providers and not blindly rely upon just one person. At the same time, Zoom is also coming up with various solutions to, sort of fix it. But I think it will take some time for it.
Thank you. Another follow-up question on this is that when we see your presentation in the last, you have put this barcode.
That's a QR code, yes.
So how does it help you? What do you do with this?
So QR code, what is the advantage? See, most of us now today are, we find it little reluctance or, difficult in typing a larger word or a sentence. So a QR code, what you do is you just take this QR code, take it near your mobile phone camera. You just open it there. The link will appear and it will automatically take you to my LinkedIn profile. So this is the LinkedIn QR code, which is available so that you can quickly click on that. It will take you through the LinkedIn profile of mine and we can be connected. And you can consider having something like that for yourself as well. You just have to go to LinkedIn, my profile, view my QR code, you will get it.
Yes, I just did it. And so I am connected with you on that.
Wonderful.
So if you can guide the whole group as to how to create this QR code, it would be good.
It is very simple. If you have your LinkedIn app, let me quickly open it because I am not able to recollect exactly step by step. You will find an option called view profile. Sorry, I think 1 minute. You will find an option called a search on top.
Yes.
Click on search, and the moment you click on search, right hand side, you will find one small 4 boxes or 4 dots.
Yes.
Click on that. You will find scan and my code.
Yes.
Click on my code. You will find whatever is the screen. Which is
it's done. It's done. And I'm very thankful to you because I was thinking I'll take ages to do it after the webinar, but it's a live hands-on, and I'm really thankful to the Amritsar branch for bringing live to us. And which part of the country you are based at?
I am from Bangalore, sir.
Okay, thank you. You are
IT.
You are IT.
So today I'm telling you, technology is so very simple. It is just available in a click of a button, rather in a touch of a finger. We just have to just use it and explore it. And anything which you are not able to understand, just take up your iPhone, Siri or Google and say, okay, Google, tell me this. It is 100% solutions. Blogs are available.
Okay.
Pleasure, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you. Mr. Rajiv is asking, cloud-based software's data security concerns are there. What do I do? I definitely agree with you, Mr. Rajiv. The challenge in a case of cloud-based is they would have hosted with some XYZ, and that XYZ software normally tends to be Amazon, AWS, Microsoft Azure, or Google. And generally, these 3 people have a decent sort of a data security. Point number 1. Point number 2. You can insist your vendor to provide a third-party certificate who has audited the data security controls. So that's another thing which you can do. And if your vendor says, no, I don't have a security certificate like that, I think you can volunteer and tell him that, boss, I will do an audit for you and I'll give you an audit report. And you can probably use that audit report to validate it. We have a professional opportunity also available. Yeah. Any more questions? Feel free to unmute yourself. Anything relating to tech and how we can implement it, I'll be happy to take it.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Elagavan, for a wonderful and informative session. Now I request CA Ajay Manchanda to propose vote of thanks.
Thank you, Shashi. I hereby extend sincere thanks to CA Narasimhan Elagavan on behalf of Amritsar branch of NIRC for giving an excellent coverage to the topic. I think the techniques and tools discussed by the speaker will be of great use to the members, like Google Drive setup, routine tracking, task tracking, etc. I think members are already been using techniques like Google Drive and AnyDesk and Teamweaver techniques for remote sharing. But further introducing us to the new techniques like Zoho and Click, I think this will be very useful for the members also. I think all the techniques and advances and the technological advances would lead to a smarter CA office in future. And I think we all feel very inspired by your great words. I once again thank and extend my hearty thanks to the CA Narasimhan L. Gavan for giving us this valuable time during this quarantine period. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Now I hand over the proceedings to CA Shashipal for further proceedings. Thank you.
Thank you, Jaji. Thank you, Mr. Elagavan, for your informative session. And now this meeting is over. We will be back for the next session on Monday or Tuesday, which will be informed to you on WhatsApp. Thank you, members.
Members, the video of this session is available on YouTube. In case you wish to see this again, you can log on to YouTube and you can go to the Amritsar branch YouTube channel and watch this. The PPT would be shared with you on WhatsApp. And in case someone is not on WhatsApp, you can just send me a message or call me up. I'm giving you my phone number at the bottom. I'll be happy to email the PPT to you once we get it. Thank you so much. Rajiv ji, you'll get the PPT as I just said. And Harish ji, yes, you have a query, please feel free to ask it once again.
I have one suggestion. Can I just tell?
Please,
Yes,
sir.
please go
Please,
ahead.
sir.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say that if you can see me, my name is appearing as Harish Kumar because this license is the name of Harish, but I am Ashish Lakhotia. And I had created this virtual background of my company name. So, you know, this is also a very good tool that if Ajayji, you are based there and you want to write ICAI Amritsar, you can, you know, do this. I'll send you on your number and you can